my name is Rosanna. I am addicted to luxury fashion and shopping. Today I'm going to show you my first ever Chanel bag that I ever purchased. My YouTube channel is relatively new and eventually I want to show you a bigger collection of my luxury goods. But today we're going to start off with the very first one. This is not the first and only Chanel bag I own now, but this is the first ever piece I purchased way back in about 2009 or 2010. So it has been a very long time. This bag is over a decade old. I purchased this directly at the boutique in Portland where they have a tax-free state. So I got this tax-free there. I'll tell you a whole story about how and why and everything that prompted me to get this bag. It is indeed a classic. Everybody knows this, but I'm gonna show it and unbox it first, and I'm gonna get on to a story. So this is the original box it ever came in. I take exceptionally good care of everything I own because I purchase everything with my hard-earned money, and as I'm sure every one of you do as well. So I like to keep everything in the best condition ever. So this is the original box, the magnetic flap. I actually have kept everything, the ribbons and everything. And I always store my bags back in the original packaging if I have it. Sometimes I don't for whatever reason. So this is it. So it comes in that classic flap dust bag. So you already would know what that is. I'm gonna take this out of the bag. And of course it comes with, that's just empty now. And then it does come with, and I know that this comes now as well, with the care booklet. And I didn't know what this was for the longest time, but it has a little microfiber cloth here to clean your bags if you want it. Some care details that I've never read through. I think maybe the first time I ever purchased it I did, and just like a book about the classic Chanel. So you get all of this. So on to the actual bag. This is the beautiful microfiber dust bag. This is actually how I store my bags normally. But I should show you the item first. So here is classic. This is the medium Chanel in small Caviar in gold hardware. It's such a beauty. Every time I see her, even though I've had her for so long, she looks impeccable. And I make sure that I keep her this way. Not for any resale value, but again, like I said, I worked really hard to buy this item back over a decade ago, so I make sure to keep really good care of my stuff. So I'm going to go on a whole story and just a little bit about everything here. This is my first time showing a Chanel on YouTube or on social media, really. It comes with this microfiber dust bag, and I really do use this every time. So there's a little pocket here where Coco Chanel sits. I put her in, I saw it inside, it's stuffed as well. So let me just see if I have that stuffed. Yeah, so I just stuffed it with some of the paper inside just to keep its shape. And I put her body in this first flap here, and because the chains do indent, I've been trying a new way. So if I want to store her on the shelf instead of in the box, this is what I do. So of course I untangle the chain. Sometimes I wrap some paper around the chains, but if I'm lazy, I just shove the chains in the top flap here, and this is a new thing I've been doing, is I roll it at the top. If I want to sit her on a shelf, this is how I sit her, like this. So I just roll the top flap, and yes, maybe a little bit is exposed, but I just kind of, tuck it in a little bit. So I find this is the best way not to leave indents in the Caviar's back or the front, and I will be doing another video soon about what skin to buy, lambskin versus Caviar. That will come later, so please do subscribe and like the video, and you can follow for more updates about Chanel, and I know everyone's favorite. Okay, so let me tell you about this beauty while I have her on display beside me. So like I said, this girl here, oh, let me make her, prop her up. Beautiful. Okay, so story time about her. So, I mean, you can tell I'm not too old, but I'm not too young now either, unfortunately. When I purchased her over a decade ago, I was like 14, 15. So I purchased her when I was very, very young. I was still in high school, and I don't even remember how, but I've always been addicted to fashion. I remember when I was like 6 or 8 years old, I would start like playing around with my clothes. I would try to ruche it up, or like tie a little rubber band with one of my t-shirts so it would look like a tank top. Like, I remember I was always very, very into fashion. And when I was like 12 or 13, I remember learning about Chanel somehow. I can't even remember how. It's been so long. And I was like, yes, my first luxury bag, I am going for the top. Like, I've never settled in my entire life. I have always wanted the best for myself. Whatever I could get, I would always want the best. And this wasn't an exception. It has not changed over like 15 years later. I always still want the best. And I worked a minimum wage job. Like, people think over my lifetime that my parents have purchased this for me, or I get allowance, but you know, the truth is I never even got allowance, even as a kid. And I worked a minimum wage job starting when I was 13, and at that time, I'm in Canada, the minimum wage was, I think, $6, $6 an hour, and I worked a minimum wage job for 4 hours a week after school. I went to work at a shoe store. I was really lucky to get that job. Thanks, my cousin shook me up, and I worked there 4 hours, and I like made $30. What is that? 4 times 6, $24. I made like $30 every week. Don't like, I don't know about the math and everything. I'm not calculating that right now, but I saved that up starting when I was like 13, 14 for like 2 straight years. And when I first looked at a Chanel bag when I was like 13 in the boutique, I remember them costing, I know this goes age way back, but like $2,000. And that time when I first looked at it, the single flaps were still in production. So the one that I have is the double flap, as you can see here. But when I first looked at it, it was a single flap, and it was only about $2,000 or $3,000. And it took me about 2 years working a minimum wage job and saving incredibly almost everything. I was lucky enough to live with my parents, so I didn't have to pay for food or rent at 13. But I saved every penny of that, and sometimes I got birthday money, or Chinese New Year, we get red pockets. I saved every little bit of that. I was so frugal, and I'm still frugal today. And when I finally saved up that $2,000, I couldn't even spend it. I remember telling my whole family, my brother, I was like, once I hit $2,500, however much that bag cost at that time, I'm gonna buy this bag. And that was my entire bank account. My entire bank account only had a total of $2,000, $3,000. And once I hit that number, I couldn't spend it. I couldn't. I was like, I worked so hard all those hours, and I just couldn't let myself spend it. I wish I did, but you know. And I actually had to wait another year just for my mental like thoughts to settle. And I think when I was like 15, a year or two later, I worked a little more hours in my minimum wage jobs, and I think I had like double or triple the money at that time, like $5,000, $6,000 after like 2 years of working. And I finally was like, okay, yes, I'm gonna buy it. And at that time, I think the bag already like increased. I think I purchased this around $4,000 or $5,000. I can't quite remember. I don't know where all the receipts and stuff has been now. But I was like, I'm gonna get it. And it was my cousin's wedding, and she is in Oregon. And we took a whole family trip there, and it was like the Crazy Rich Asians, except super like low key. I was with my aunt and my mom, and everyone bought something Chanel that day. I bought a Chanel bag, this classic flap. My aunt bought like a GST shopping tote. My mom got, I think, a wallet. I actually, when I was in such a shopping high, I actually bought this and a long Chanel wallet out of lambskin. I actually still love that. And that wallet was like around $1,000. I think it's like $1,500 now. And I bought this for $4,000 or $5,000. It's like $9,000 now. But I was spending so much money. That was my entire bank account again, because the price had risen. I actually end up not keeping the wallet. I think I only kept it for like 2 weeks or so, and then I was like, I can't do it. It's too expensive, and I returned the wallet. But I kept the bag, of course, and I'm so happy I did. She has accompanied me in so many places. So I finally got it, and it was a perfect timing. The first time I used it was for my cousin's wedding. And my other cousin, actually, I remember him filming me unbox this the very first time I ever did it. I don't have the video now. I mean, that's probably with like one of those shitty flip phones. But yeah, so that was my whole story about how I got this. So realistically, I feel everyone when they're like a Chanel bag was very expensive, and back then it was very expensive. It's not like, yes, it is way more expensive now, but I saved up with my $6 minimum wage job for years to purchase this bag. I know I'm crazy, and I know I'm lucky enough not to need to purchase my own food at that time and everything. But I mean, if you really want something, you can save up and get it. Like, I saved up for years to get this bag, and I have zero regrets. And I mean, you can see close up, this bag is over a decade old, like 15 years old, and it looks just as beautiful as it first came out. I have absolutely zero scratches on this, no wear and tear marks at all. It looks pristine. Like, this would be comparable to the exact brand new quality at the boutique, is how much care I put in this bag. And over these years, I've collected more Chanels, of course, my favorite brand, but nothing has hit home stronger than this first bag. I almost don't ever take her out anymore, because I just feel like she was a symbol of something that I couldn't have, and something that I worked really hard to get. I have a lot of first pieces, jewelry, bags, that are very sentimental to me, because there's something that I worked really hard to get. I work extremely hard for everything I have. I don't take anything for granted, and this is like the same, really. So even some of the items that I purchased now, I've never really sold anything, but if I do, I wouldn't really mind selling them. But for this bag, it's not the resale value or anything. I don't think I would be able to really ever part with her, just because it's a symbol of something that I worked so hard to get. So this is really it. I just wanted to really show you this. I'll show you a couple of items of what I can put inside, of course. And again, I'm gonna do a video sharing with you what bag you should get for your first Chanel if you were considering that. So I'm going to show you what I can fit inside, and then my last thoughts. Okay, so let's try putting a couple of things in. I'm going to see if I can put in things in a couple of different ways to show you. I think I mentioned that this pocket right in the center is supposed to be for lipstick, but I never use it for lipstick. I'm going to put my wallet in first. It's actually quite a chunky one, bifold, my favorite type of wallet, and I will put it in with the bigger side on the bottom. I never wear sunglasses, but I'm going to see if this fits. So I have one of these half cases for my sunglasses. And yeah, let's just pretend I didn't say that. So wallet, and then I would just put my headphones, my AirPods here of that chunky case. And I usually just have a lipstick and maybe eyelash glue. And these are exceptions that I would not use an exterior protector for. And then I have keys. They obviously they do fit in there, but I'm not going to put keys in there. And this for my phone, I would put that in the back. So I think it fits really like a mid-sized bag. It does add a lot, but honestly and maybe I usually do have a scrunchie with me now, so I would actually just put that scrunchie in, and that's all I would put in here. So that fits very comfortably without stretching out my bag, which is very important to me. So that looks perfect here. And of course the keys fit, but I wouldn't put those in personally. If anything, I'll put a little pouch for the keys, and I wouldn't use that. But let's say that you wanted to have, you're one of those people that want sunglasses are extra compact. And then I would suggest you not to use a big bifold like I do. And I'm sure you guys all have a little card case. Maybe I'll make a little short thing about this, but I'll use just a card case with super thin, just pop it right in. Then you can bring your sunglasses if you want to. Wow, I wouldn't put that in. My case is way too thick, but you could put that in. You could put everything else. And so this is what I mean if I would put makeup. So let's say that you want to put your blush, your powder, and a little brush. I would put all of this, including my keys then, into here, and I would zip that up so I can fit actually almost everything in this. So almost like a organizer, but a cheap, frugal way of doing it, as well as not stretching out your bag, which is, I think, really important. So I'm sure you have these makeup bags everywhere. This one was from Sephora. I think it was a free gift with purchase. So I'm actually going to put that in first. See, so that one fits perfectly now. And that has everything I need inside of that, literally. And then I can just slip in a card holder and my phone on the edge. So that does fit everything again. I think the phone makes it a little bit too bulky, but normally I'll be holding this regardless. So I'll just use a little makeup pouch to put everything in it, and a card holder if I was really trying to add a lot of stuff. But I usually don't bother, and I just use my normal wallet and my bare essentials, maybe with like a couple lipsticks and everything. So that is all we have. Okay, so you can see you can actually fit quite like a decent amount in this bag. I for sure would not be stuffing this bag at all. I try never to put sharp things in this bag, and that goes with any luxury bag that I care about. I don't ever want to put my keys or anything sharp in them. I really want to make sure that they keep clean and pristine as long as possible. I know some people use the felt protectors. I am one of the people that I never purchased a felt organizer or a protector before, and I don't wish to. I don't feel like I want to spend another 20, 40, and there's like this brand, 7 Rue something, that's like $400 for a felt protector. I'd rather get like another bag. yeah, I wouldn't spend money on felt protectors. I heard of influencers who bought like a felt protector from Amazon, not from like a super reputable place, and it stretched out their bag because it wasn't actually the perfect dimension. So I would be really careful if you were to buy felt protectors. I would even buy one smaller than the intended bag, just in case if it deformed your bag in any way. So I personally will not. Sometimes what I do, instead of using like a felt protector to protect my inside, the inside leather, is I actually just use like a softer makeup case that's clean. And I would put some of like my makeup in there as well as my keys, and I would put that makeup organizer into my purses. So I just use like a small makeup pouch that I put my makeup in anyways. I would never put like eyeshadows or powders directly in my bag in case it leaked, but I do put lipstick. So but I've, knock on wood, never had anything bad happen. So yeah. And I think maybe just one more close up of how everything works, everything that features that are on here. So you can have this as of course, like a shoulder strap, and I'll just show you how that looks. And you can have it as a crossbody or a single shoulder. I know for some people that this is a little bit too short for them to do a crossbody, but I am only 5'1", so it actually works for me perfectly. So this is how it looks for me, and I don't have a big chest, so it just sits right below my boobs here. That's how it looks. I actually do love it as a crossbody. I think it's very casual. I generally try to wear it as a shoulder bag regardless. It does have a beautiful flap here. Occasionally when I'm in an emergency, I do shove my phone back here, but that is emergencies only. I usually don't use this pocket at all. Here is that turn clasp. I personally like gold hardware over light gold or silver. This is my favorite hardware because most of my jewelry is gold hardware. Up here, as everyone probably already knows, this was a little secret pocket that is functional, and Coco Chanel used to hide little love notes here to other people, but you can see it is only this deep. So it's only this deep, so you can literally put nothing in here. I don't use this at all. Here's that double flap like this little button here to close that double flap. I never use it again. I'm gonna take this out again. This is an inner flap. Sometimes I might shove a receipt in here, and this is the inner pocket like you saw, and that beautiful burgundy interior. So if I was to say, if I would do it again, I would do the exact same way. I would definitely buy a black Caviar medium gold hardware for my first classic flap, or for Chanel. I was actually very happy with this for many years. I didn't buy any other luxury goods for a long time, so this was one of my only bags in my collections when I was, 15, but I used it for a lot of years and I wouldn't change a thing. Like if I was to go back and say I wanted to purchase my first luxury good again, it would be the Chanel classic flap. And this leather is one of the best, very durable, and it doesn't scratch easily. I would personally pick gold hardware over light gold hardware. Now there's that rose gold and silver. I think gold hardware is the classiest hardware, but I think it really depends on the jewelry that you wear as well as your preference. Silver is definitely more edgier, more young, and the gold is a little bit more classic. I would say a little bit older almost, but I mean, I loved this when I was 14, but I had really old taste in general. But anyways, I wouldn't change a thing about this. The size is perfect. The small would have been a little bit too small for my first bag, as well as the jumbo would have been too heavy and just too big overall. This was just the perfect thing. So if you were considering a classic flap, I would strongly suggest this as your first bag. And I will definitely be sharing the lambskin pros and cons in one of my next videos. So thank you everyone for watching, and thank you for watching this unboxing for my first Chanel ever. Have an amazing, wonderful day, and please subscribe and like, and I will see you again soon. Bye.